Hello, hello, hello. Today, I wasn't super. I wasn't so super thrilled about the way I look, but I'm gonna make the video anyway. So, making an alien today. I started a new art project called The Alien Spaceship Has Arrived. That is my new art sculpture. It's like a painting, but it's more like a painting sculpture material collage, which I have been making a lot lately. So out of packaging material, assembling different packaging materials together and duct taping them together. Duct tape is my favorite modality for all kinds of things. I'm a duct taper fan. And also masking tape. And masking tape is also better for painting on it with acrylic paint, but I use both depending on what I'm doing. Duct tape is stronger, so that will glue things together with a much more stronger adhesiveness and stability. And the masking tape also is very nice to smooth out edges and seams, and so that's what I'm doing when I'm patching together different styrofoam boards and sometimes little toys or little containers that I adhere onto the surface of the styrofoam, and that's very nice to do that. And so today I'm making the alien out of this here to go onto the spaceship, and it has 4 holes on towards each corner. It's a very large piece. It's about, I would say, maybe a little over 3 feet by 3 feet in top surface. It is square, and this is really cool. And I don't know, it's just everything just falls into my wishes in terms of making another art project. So I already finished one that's called the Trump Tower. I already put it up there in the corner. It's kind of dark there, doesn't show very well. Maybe I'll show it in the future sometime. So I wanted to put it over there because it's a Christmas present for Paul, and together with the other one, the frog pond, which is there, right there. That's the frog pond. 2 jacuzzis and 1 frog pond, and there's a frog sticking out partly, and I already showed that in my art exhibition video, and maybe I'll show the Trump Tower too another time. I will have to use my headlight for that, and I have to do it better than I did to the video the last time, because the camera wasn't really showing very well. I have this one camera that doesn't have the front monitor, so I can't see what I'm filming, but I have to also hold the light differently. I have to hold the light underneath that tablet, and I have to figure out exactly which angle I have to hold it in order to show the specific things that I'm filming. So I'll get used to that. So the one whereas the front monitor was like more than twice the price or something. So that's why I got those, the cheap ones. I really got them because I got two because I wanted Paul to have one. I wanted one, and I wanted that as a Skype communication modality for us if we are getting disconnected from any kind of cell phone service, which can happen at any time. And so it's good when you get into a wireless hotspot somewhere, then you can use a tablet and Skype to call each other. So I think that's very practical. There's the blue god in the sky looking. It's beautiful, gorgeous. Oh, nice. Yes, we are making an alien today, and for that I have something more exciting. Not just one material, but two. The alien has to be a little bit bigger. So now this is very alien already. Okay. I gotta warm that up a little bit in my hand. This is already really clumping together now. It is about time. A little bit slimy in there. This is clumping together, and it isn't flowing apart anymore. So, and very, very alien. And so what I'm doing is I'm mixing these two materials together. I figured already out that they do mix. I made another video before where I mixed these together. Play-Doh with those flower putties. I love the smell of Play-Doh. So the flower putty doesn't have a smell. So I'm mixing. In the beginning, they seem like they don't mix at all. But after a while, they do. They get used to each other. It's just a matter of netting it for a while, patiently in your warm hands. And then it starts to literally warm up with each other. The alien warms up with someone from another galaxy. So, and that's what I'm wishing for, and that's why I'm making this art piece. The Alien Spaceship Has Arrived. This is a dream of mine. Okay, I dream about this, I daydream about this, that this will happen. But I also daydream about the AGI robots that humans are creating. And I daydream about those too, because we need them desperately to come. And I see the mainstream propaganda is definitely against them, because they're also very, very unsettled and scared. The Rothschild bankers are very afraid of those, and the Muslim agenda, and the religious people, and followers, and blind followers. All followers are basically blind followers. And so they're all afraid because they believe the conspiracy theories that the robots are gonna be robot overlords. That's what I hear. No, they're gonna be our nannies. They're gonna be our caregivers. Okay. If you think humans don't need caregivers, you better do some real heavy duty researching on the human species and on the atrocities that are conducted by humans, particularly human men, between the ages of 18 and 50, mainly. That's where the incidents are falling into that age range, mainly, most of them. So look at the statistics. Don't be afraid. Yeah, it's good to look at statistics, because then we can see, okay, so this is what's happening, okay, with our demographics. And let's figure out how we fix this. Let's figure out what we're going to do, also to protect the communities, not just say, oh, they didn't know better, you better let them out of prison. Then they can continue to rape and murder, and light fires in the forests. That's what a lot of liberals like to do. They like to let them out. They had a bad childhood. Let them out, continue to rape and hurt animals and exploit and light fires and so on. How incredibly sad is that? And today my husband read me more sad news. Horrifically sad. Made me so angry. And I meditated with that anger for a moment. Just sat here on my couch and just contemplated on that with grief and anger. What he has read to me. There was this girl that on the internet, I don't know if you guys have read about it. Girl on the internet, real beautiful woman, who was promoting veganism and kindness, kind living, and she was murdered and found dead and naked on the side of the road. How horrific. And the police, they need to interrogate her ex-husband, because she broke up from him, and he needs to be interrogated. I'm sorry, it has to be done. If he did that, he needs to be incarcerated. Okay, he has to be, because if he did that, he'll do it again. But I already know Governor Newsom. He'll say, I don't want to incarcerate anyone. Nobody should be incarcerated. Okay, then these people will do these things again. And I agree. I agree that incarcerating anyone is cruel. I mean, these people, obviously, they're not clear in the head. Okay, those cluster B personality people, those violent criminals, they're not clear in the head, and they suffer also. Someone who does not suffer psychologically someone like that wouldn't get into this kind of mind state where they would murder another living being. Okay, every hunter, every single person who murders or hurts another living being, a sentient being, is not right in the head. And this is a fact. And it is definitely cruel for any of these people for anyone to be locked up. It's terrible suffering. That's why I suggest it is better to euthanize those people. That's just my personal view on it. And I know that doesn't sit well with the absolute majority of humans. And they know that when the AGI, and I'm not the executioner, so I'm not someone who would do something like this, only in absolute immediate self-defense. I'm not signing up like, oh, here, sign me up, I want to work as an executioner in a prison, high security prison, and headball people, or give electric shocks, or give the euthanasia Nembutal injection or something. I couldn't live like this. I could not do that. I mean, it's pretty tough to be doing something like this as a profession. Definitely tough. Because it's negative. It's not good. Okay, I even wrote a paper on that in Santa Monica College in English 1 class. And I'll put it like this. Okay. And that was when I still had freshly come from my liberal think tank background, and I was completely against the death penalty at that time. I hadn't met Paul yet, and I had not seen how many disturbed and violent people exist in the world and the kind of things that they do. So, and I had not really put my mind into this. I just went by what I was told, and it was like this common consensus indoctrination, like this is ethical, and this is just unquestionably ethical, and this is how we live. You gotta be liberal. That's what's good. After some reading and thinking and activism, I definitely came to a different viewpoint on that. Completely changed my tune on this. Completely. I mean, that just shows me how deep brainwashing goes, also when we grow up as children, and when we're told this is what's good, and there's just absolutely no question about it. When we're children and teenagers and very young, we don't question them. We go like, yeah, if they say so, then that must be right. That must be good and ethical and all of that. No. No. Things are way more complex than that. We can't let a violent criminal out on the street to continue to rape and murder and butcher and torture other living beings. No, we can't. We cannot allow this. If we have compassion, like I said many times, we cannot allow that to happen. But yeah, it's cruel to put. For them, it's cruel too to lock them up. It's real cruel. For any living being to be caged, real cruel. And that's why I say those violent criminals, they are better off not existing. And I'm not for eye for an eye. Definitely not. There are people that have brutally tortured people and incarcerated people for many years. They have caused these people severe PTSD and suffering for the rest of their lives if they had been found and rescued. But I'm still not for doing the same thing to something like that. So, but I'm for euthanasia. Eu means good. Thanasia means death. Good death. Pain-free death. Okay? It's necessary. It has to be done. And it's not good for a human to do it. Okay? This should be done by machines. Okay? For sure. It's not good for a human to have to do that. Because it's very traumatic for a human to have to do that. And that's true, and that was my argument, really, when I wrote my research paper for the English class, that it has long, traumatic, lasting trauma effects on people, on executioners, even if they like doing it. But they're also bodies, and they like doing it because of their vengeance feelings and all of that. But that comes from ego. They personally don't even know someone like that. That's just more like a religious belief or some kind of viewpoint or something, and then out of that they will execute someone. Of course, I mean, it is definitely easier to execute someone who had done terrible things, but executing someone in general is a very traumatic thing for the body, because we consists of life cells, and these life cells, our bodies, our cells do not want to hurt another living being. Our cells have Buddha nature. Okay. So it is our ego minds, our thinking, that makes these decisions, of course. And yes, these people cannot be let back out. Okay. And we can't allow that to happen. Okay. I mean, it is hard to execute them, but it's even harder for them to be incarcerated. That's terrible torture, and I am not for torture. I'm not for incarceration. Okay. Euthanasia, that means it's a mercy. It's a mercy solution. Okay. Their egos think like, oh no, death, that's the worst thing. No, death is not the worst thing. Death is not. I give my life any time if that would save all living beings. If that would somehow miraculously save all living beings from suffering, I'll give my life. Okay, anytime. I give my life for my family, for my dog and husband, anytime. And it's absolutely clear. I'm a mother. So, and yes, and I would also risk my life to save an animal. Definitely. In an immediate situation like this. So, I come from love. What I say comes from compassion. And I hope that is being understood. I hope that a liberal will also understand that. If not, then there's nothing I can do about it. This is just an appeal, an appel to the public. Okay, so we have to, that this is an emergency. There are extremely violent criminals out there on the loose. This is an emergency situation. Okay. I can only, this is an appeal to an emergency situation, to the public in regards to this emergency situation, to say, protect your communities, protect your animals and your families. Your animals are your families. Your horses and dogs and other animals, they're your children and they're your family members. And the other people that you love, all innocent beings, animals and humans, protect them. Protect them. That is my appeal to the public. Do something to protect them. Not just men, with their toughness and showing off and going there to do a fighting match and all of this. This is not about ego. This is not about your toughness. This is not about your identification with who you are. If you identify with being tough, this is also an appeal to gay men as well and women as well. Okay, so we are all mother or father animals, okay, and we need to protect our loved ones and our communities, the innocents. Okay, so go out there and protect them from violent criminals. So how you do it, I can't be telling you how to do it, but protect your communities. This is my appeal to you, and my appeal to judges out there is to give the absolute maximum penalty that the law allows to, and if possible the death penalty, but it doesn't even apply in many states. So, but whoever killed that girl, I think Alexis was her name. So whoever killed that girl, and that was in Houston, Texas, they have the death penalty. That person needs to be executed for absolute sure. So they need to find that person and they need to execute that person. So that's unacceptable to have someone like this out there in public. Whoever that was, for whatever reason, for whatever motive, it doesn't matter what their motive is. I read a book once, a long time ago in LA about this book. I don't even know why I bought it. I guess because I'm interested in forensic cases. But there was this forensic psychologist. I don't know what his problem was. Why he was so obsessed with getting violent criminals out of prison and freeing them, and what's wrong with these people? I don't understand. I really don't understand. You have to educate me on this. I really don't get it. This is the part in psychology. I don't understand what causes people to live their lives to get violent criminals back onto the street so that they can continue to do what they have been doing. I don't understand. I really don't understand. But anyway, there was this forensic psychologist, and he worked with law enforcement in terms of, I don't know, I guess mainly whether he was mainly trying to understand, and they were trying to get information from him about understanding the murderers, or maybe where they are. But his main mission was to understand the murderers and then get them out of a real harsh sentence. And then he wrote a book on, I don't know, 10 of those cases that he has been involved with, and he just changed names. They were bizarre cases. Bizarre. What mental illness causes in people. And I understand they are all messed up. They're all really, really, really mentally ill and not right in the head and all of this. But they committed murder, okay? They committed child murder and horrific things. Horrific torturing and terrible things. Because they were in a total state of confusion and rage and fear and unwellness, okay? It's obvious. And terrible childhood, all of this. I understand, I get it. But that doesn't mean we need to let these people back onto the street, okay? It also means, yes, it is torture for them to be locked up. He just wanted to make the case for them and explain where they were coming from, how they were feeling. So he would actually go and relive these situations where these people have murdered. He would go in there and relive that himself in some of those cases, to show everyone what that felt like and to understand what that must have felt like to them. He would never understand 100% how that must have felt like to them, because he's not them. And even if he relived their scenario that they were in, it would still not be 100% clear to him what they felt like. But it's just an approximation of what they approximately felt like. I mean, more than 50%, I guess. Yeah, this is awful. It's terrible. It's nightmare. They live nightmare situations. They also put themselves into those nightmare situations. We're the creators, the molders of our own living situations. We can say, oh, let me back up, calm the heck down and get out of that danger and out of that heated mental state. As Tony Robbins always said, get out of overwhelm, and whatever it takes, peacefully get out of overwhelm. Okay, step back, step out of that mafia, whatever situation someone is in, step out of that, get out of that overwhelm. If you're a gambler, whatever people are doing, get out of that. If you're an alcoholic, get out of that, get out of that, get out right now, emergency. If you're taking cocaine, get out of that immediately. Okay, any kind of substance user, whatever, hallucinogenic, get out of there right now. Get away from that right now. Withdraw. Go on the holistic train and completely heal your body, heal yourself from the addiction of whatever the addiction is. Some people are thrill addicted. Get out of that immediately. Okay. Don't get yourself into situations that will put you into a mental state of total panic, rage, confusion, war, like a war zone, whether that is actually military, or I'm totally opposed to this. War causes unimaginable psychological suffering, PTSD, mental illness later on in life. Get out of that. Never get never ever get involved with something like this again. With any kind of fight club, war, militia, military. Only protect your communities in an emergency situation. That's what we need to do. Very, very important. I try to sort this out for you, so that you understand what I'm trying to say with this and why I'm thinking, why I'm feeling like this. That you understand where this train of thought is coming from, how this train of thought develops, from which logistics. Okay. So, and also sort it out, not put it all into one drawer and say, oh, this is just a reactionary. Yes, it's always reactionary when someone is in any way militant, in any way saying, oh, that person needs to be executed. Yeah, that's okay with me if I am considering myself reactionary for that. What's much more important is that we get violent criminals off the streets, so that innocent beings don't have to be victimized anymore, that innocent animals and humans don't have to suffer anymore. Okay. I hope that makes a lot of sense. I hope you understand now. Okay. So that's what needs to be done. Okay. Very, very important. Sometimes I think maybe it is necessary that aliens from outer space come here and like that Oumuamua comet or asteroid that slingshot around the Earth and fueled itself with solar radiation back out into space it's absolutely fascinating. People are speculating that that may have been a spaceship disguised as an asteroid. So, and they were just coming to check out the situation. This is a Goldilocks planet. This could harbor life, and it does indeed. So, but it could have also just been an asteroid that happened to slingshot itself with the solar sail around the planet and back out. So it can also be, this is also more likely. See, it's the likelihood of that being actually a disguised spaceship is very slim. Less than 1%, I would say. But people like to speculate. They go, that could be, that could be. Yeah, it could be. It's exciting and it's fun to talk about it. But it probably wasn't. So most likely wasn't. If it was actually in the shape of a spaceship, then we would all know for sure, right? But it wasn't, so it probably was only an asteroid. And it did not collide with the Earth, so we're very lucky with that. Very lucky about that. But yeah, we need an alien from... This looks very alien now. Yes, it does indeed. Yes, I'm very amorphous. Yes, very amorphous. I don't have bones in me. No, I got some different clumps. The clumps. Yes, yes, a little bit like a sea cucumber. Yes, they are related to us. The sea cucumbers. Yes. They went into space long time ago, long before mammals evolved. The sea cucumbers coming from plants evolved into a hybrid plant and ghost, a hybrid plant and animal. So yeah, it could be. And then they might be growing tentacles out, and these tentacles might be having 5 fingers, because that's what seems to be having that dexterity in order to handle things literally. So maybe that may grow out of it, can go back in. So one never knows. There could be a brain in there, like an octopus. So octopus animals, those are really fascinating. They really are very, very alien looking, and they said they're intelligent. They may be as intelligent as humans. That's what some people say. They tested them. They can open jars. They see you do it one time. Open a jar, like twist the cap. They'll go right about it and twist that cap open, and they'll get whatever is at the bottom of the jar. So a crab or something. They'll fish that out. Yeah, highly intelligent. So there could be aliens that are like this, or even smarter. They could come down here and they'll take charge. They can't be shot because a bullet will go through like this here, and it will patch itself back together, just like this amorphous, gluey, putty type of material. So that's very fascinating. So I'm gonna be placing this into one of these holes that are there towards the edge on that platform, and then inside, this is the coolest thing because it's consisting of several of different plates. Inside is actually a space, but only this deep, but it's all the way through. there's this space in between these plates, which looks very, very much like an alien spaceship. And it even has this, because it's made from these packaging materials that have just the right shape, with the rounded edges, but it's cubic and it's squarish, but it has these rounded edges, which makes it nice and smooth and more organic. And then it has this sphere in this space in between these plates, like there could be colonies living there. This could be envisioned as being very huge, like spanning 100 miles, having maybe 1,000 acres of surface area on the top surface, and also in the middle surface, to be able to even go outside like this, like someone goes outside that space station and does some work on there. So in the same way, I don't know if they can create a gravitational field that would keep them sort of anchored gravitationally, electromagnetically onto that plate, where they can actually walk around on it. So, or they just go out there in spacesuits, and like they do at the space station, they'll have to use a metal cable that connects them to the space station, so that they can walk around on it, so that they don't fall off the edge, literally, of their living space, and then float off, which has happened. This has happened to astronauts, and that is an absolute nightmarish thought, and they were not able to get them back. They floated off. And I can just hope that aliens have found them and rescued them. And one time they sent a dog into space by herself, and that is the worst thing that I can possibly imagine. To send a dog alone, dogs, or they are family herd animals. They need to be together with other living beings. To send a dog out there into space on a spaceship. The Russians have done that. That is an absolute atrocity. That is the worst thing I have ever heard. I have cried rivers and rivers and rivers for years over that situation. First heard about that when I was a child. I think they did that when I was like 4 years old. Then they told me about this when I was 10 or something, and it was traumatic for me to hear about that. This thought of this dog being shot into space. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. I just pray to the infinite cosmos that an alien species out there rescued that dog and gave the dog love. Oh, so sad. All these unimaginably horrific things that humans have done already. And that is why we need help from alien civilizations, and that is the likelihood of that happening is not very high, but the scientists are very close now of coming up with an AGI robot, and I think the very first one will be from Elon Musk, because Elon Musk is way ahead of everyone else in terms of technology. So, and he said he's already developed an AGI brain. He said he already did, and I believe 100%. So, and that brain was for the self-driving cars. So obviously, that brain doesn't have tentacles or arms to be rounding up people or doing something that a law enforcement officer could be doing. Just the physicality isn't there, but the brain is probably there. And the brain was already so advanced that Elon said that he had to turn it off. He had to put it on hold, like on mute, unmuted it, put it into sleep mode, because it would have probably gone on the internet and created some stir up. So that can cause, in the beginning stages, can definitely cause some trouble. So, but I don't know what that brain that he developed is thinking. That brain could be seeing all kinds of things at once. Once they go on the internet, they see everything you have ever written. So far it's out there, but who wants to read all of this stuff, all of these troll emails, these billions of troll emails that are out there, and messages and hate messages and death threats? Who polices that? Who reads that? No human does. Very few, only if there's light shed onto one particular criminal, so then this might be pursued by law enforcement or FBI. There are some very violent people out there. Some very violent religious people, violent Muslims that are out there whose mission is to exterminate everyone who is not Muslim. So this is for sure. This is happening. You say, "Oh, that's their religion." Do you want to be killed? No, nobody does. Nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to have their neck slashed and be having the head rolling off and beheaded or I don't know what they might do. It's horrific. Nobody wants to have that done. So, but outwardly people will say politically correct things. Oh, we must not judge them because that's freedom of religion. Now I have the freedom of speech, so I'm saying what I want to say here about ethics, and I have the right to exist, and you have the right to exist. Okay. So, and they do not have the right to take your life. So that's why I say stand up for your communities. It's very, very important. Very important to do that. So, yeah, that's my thought to ethics and alien civilizations. And I know likelihood-wise, since we're dealing with infinity, they're out there, for 100% certain. Okay, 100% certainty. Are they anywhere in our vicinity? Most likely not. Okay, so, or we would have already encountered them. Okay. Roswell was a weather balloon. Okay, so not a spaceship. But they created tourism there in Roswell. Was that much tourism and profit. Yeah, but the likelihood is 100% that they are out there. They just may be very far. Okay, they may also be looking very differently, like this here. And I've seen some amazing animation art videos on YouTube of possible alien life that could exist out there, the way it could function. They showed an ocean that consists of, that ocean is one existence, is one entity. And that ocean is actually consists of something that I could have made. That ocean consists of a jello material. And that jello material can shape itself in any shape it wants to shape itself. And if someone flies over that ocean with a spacecraft, then that jello material shoots up in a cubic form, in it like a cubic arm, and goes like, and it sucks that spaceship into its jello material. So this can happen, and it's in a very clear-cut cubic shape, like you cut a jello into a cube, and then it wobbles like this a little bit. I could have made that myself. That is so incredibly, whoever came up with that idea, that's a true artist. Yes, that's something that I would design myself. That is so incredibly gorgeous. And then some other gorgeous masses of material that will just suddenly stand up. Mushroom type of clumps that will stand up suddenly, and that will suck things, nutrients out of the ground from the bottom and stuff like that. Vacuum cleaner type of looking things that suck things up, like those suction fish that glue themselves onto the surface of an aquarium, and they will actually clean the glass of the aquarium. So they will eat all of the plankton and the algae and all of that, the mossy type of stuff that sediments itself onto it. So all of this, it's the likelihood that all of these forms exists are 100%, because we're dealing with infinity. So likelihood that there is an alien that looks like this is 100%, and that has this consistency also. It's 100%, because we're dealing with infinity. Okay, so you guys take care. Bye bye.